Hello, my name is Doug Henry, and I'm a member of WellSpring Christian Church, and I've been asked to participate in a series of devotionals that are going to be shown on social media. And the topic that I've picked for this 3 to 5 minute video has to do with the subject of discipleship. Many people confuse this word with just becoming a Christian. And while the process is certainly one that we certainly want to start, reality of it is Jesus had a number of criteria for which he had hoped his people who chose to believe in him by faith in God's grace alone, in Jesus alone. He nevertheless used the word discipleship and defined it in a number of places. And what I've done is to select several scriptures in the Gospels quoting Jesus himself as to what a disciple really was. And a disciple to Jesus was, when Jews began to believe in him, was in John chapter 8, verse 31 and 32. He said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And here he gives the criteria for discipleship as somebody who not only just accepts Jesus and his salvation and the free offer of it for a person in a relationship with God, but also somebody who studies what Jesus taught and hopefully carried out his commands. In another place in John chapter 13, when Jesus was entertaining his disciples at the Last Supper, he gave a statement in John 13, verse 34 and 35, "A new command I give to you, love one another. As I have loved you, you must also love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." And besides obedience to his commands, discipleship involved a community within the context of what the Bible calls the church, that we are, in fact, specifically supposed to love each other. And it's hard for me to understand why somebody would deprive themselves of the community of a church when, in fact, this discipleship has, as part of its definition, loving each other. It's kind of hard to do that, isn't it, from afar? A third portion of the scriptures in John chapter 15, verse 7 and 8, Jesus says, "If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, thus showing yourself to be my disciples." Well, what does he mean by fruit? Well, it could be talked about in a number of ways, but I think there's fairly uniform agreement that this means the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, and patience, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, and things like that. And bearing much fruit is part of discipleship. And if in a person's life you don't see that fruit, then one is at least has a right to question whether that person really knows Christ. They may. The Bible teaches that God's Spirit witnesses with our spirit that we are a child of God in Romans 8:16. But whether I know about it is because of the fruit that you bear or the fruit that I bear in your presence. And then Jesus actually had a definition of discipleship that really is very, very, I would call severe. And he said to them all, those who were trying to follow him, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it." And here Jesus is basically saying, becoming a disciple is a death event where we die to self and we elevate him to be the Lord of our lives. Jesus said to them at the end of his ministry in Galilee before he was taken back up into heaven after the resurrection, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them," that is the disciples, "in my name, in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Del Fesenfeld, Jr., who began a revival ministry called Life Action Ministries that works out of Buchanan, Michigan, once said, "If revival depended upon me, my prayers and my faith, my obedience, would America ever experience revival?" And in the day and age we live, with police brutality and COVID-19 and morality going amok, don't we need revival? But it's going to require disciples. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.